3 rounds of discussion with a 20-minute time limit. Introducing first from a Zoom call in Columbia, South Carolina, Matthew, aka the Unbreakable Spirit. And his opponent from a Zoom call in Atlanta, Georgia, Daniel, aka the Executioner. Take it away, Matthew.
Hello everyone and welcome to the first episode of At Odds with the Unbreakable Spirit and the Executioner. Since this is our first episode, we're going to tell you a little bit about us, and we're also going to cover 2 other topics. Literally, as of this recording yesterday, WWE released 18 of the wrestlers under contract with them. I'm okay with literally only 2 of them. The others, not so much. And we're also going to cover if AEW is the future of professional wrestling.
Which is under debate.
Yeah. But we are going to start with letting you know a little bit about us. I am Matthew, the Unbreakable Spirit, and the other voice you hear is my cohort.
Yes, I am the Executioner, Daniel Travis.
And we have known each other for
a long ass time.
Since my 8th grade year, which was a long time ago since I'm in my mid-20s.
Yeah, which was all the way back in 2009.
Oh my god. Yeah, that... Somehow I put up with him for that long.
Surprisingly. Anyway, but we've known the short story of this is we had a friend who we're not gonna just name him because we don't want to. If you don't like it, tough shit.
Yeah, you can already tell by this. We've sort of developed a babyface and heel dynamic.
Yeah, anyway,
which for those who don't speak wrestling is good guy and bad guy.
Which is kind of easy to figure out if you don't live under a rock.
Or don't speak pro wrestling. There's not Rosetta Stone on that.
Okay, but anyway, short story is we met a guy. We both knew a guy who introduced me to Matthew, who got me hooked from a pro wrestling video game, and then me and Matthew became friends, and that's it.
Yeah, I'm not responsible for him becoming a fan of professional wrestling. That was the mutual friend's fault.
Yes, that is on him, and then I just did my own research. Well, with a little help of Matthew, I did my own research, and been a fan. Which I'm surprised I honestly put up with all the ridiculousness of this crazy industry.
Yeah, and I was also thinking to let them know that we're being serious and this isn't a joke or anything. We could talk a little bit about our first experience at a pro wrestling show in person.
Yes. I will go first. My first experience at a professional wrestling event was at WWE because, of course, it was a WWE. Back then, AEW was not a thing. But anyway, it was a SmackDown house show back in the old days when SmackDown was...
I thought it was a show taping, not a house show.
All right, it was right. It was a show taping. They had a lot. I don't even remember who was on the card, but the only thing that has been stuck in my brain for over a decade is we were at the show in a booth right near backstage, and every time they hit the fireworks, we had to cover our ears.
Yeah, it was very loud. I had the very same experience at my first wrestling event, which was WWE Royal Rumble 2010 in Phillips Arena in Atlanta, Georgia. And I
Whereas,
was right behind the WrestleMania sign. In fact, if you pause at a specific moment in a DVD, you will see my father's bright yellow sweater on the steps behind the WrestleMania sign.
yeah, where if I also remember correctly, that was the night Edge made his shocking return at the Royal Rumble, which ended up winning the thing, and then 10 years later would make another shocking return at the
Yeah,
Royal Rumble.
yep, it was.
But okay, the second one was just much more unpredictable. Because
Well, yeah, like,
no one saw that.
and the odds of that happening a decade apart is just uncanny.
And not to mention, fun fact, that Edge won the Royal Rumble this year on the exact same day he won it a decade ago.
Well, it would be over a decade ago,
Yeah,
but you get
yeah,
it. But you know what he means.
yes.
And all right, I think that's all we gotta cover for this segment. And we're gonna take a quick break and move on to some news about WWE. All right, and now for some bad news in WWE.
I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
Thank you, Bad News Bear. That was a terrible impersonation.
You're welcome.
As of this recording, yesterday, WWE
Again.
let go of 18 professional wrestlers that were under contract with them. And
Yeah,
I'm going to
WW.
pull up
Yeah.
the names of them. I'm okay with 2 of them. I will let you know which ones I'm okay with.
Yeah, I will say I am not really at this point with WWE just releasing talent. I hate to say this, I've just grown desensitized to it. I mean, it's always just like, oh, great. It's just like, dude, WWE, if you're gonna have a future or any sort of pro wrestling, any sort of pro wrestlers left in your company, you need to stop releasing people.
Yeah, he's actually right. And this list includes the likes of Keith Lee, Karrion Kross, Scarlett Bordeaux, Mia Yim, people like that. And some people who haven't even had a chance to be on TV, like Jesse Kane, Jet Rama, stuff like that. But I will say there are 2 releases that I'm okay with, and I have reasons for this. The first one, Nia Jax. Me personally, I think she's an unsafe worker. We all remember when she broke Becky Lynch's nose. And a lot of her, and due to her size and stuff like that, she could get involved in, like, stuff with the men, basically.
Yeah, and also I will say, I am. You are right on her being an unsafe worker, but I will say I am surprised at her being released only because she is part of the NOAH wrestling dynasty.
Yeah, we all know WWE doesn't give a crap about if you're part of that dynasty or not.
Yeah,
And the other
unless you're
one,
Roman Reigns.
yeah, and the other one is Eva Marie. The fact
For
that
some
she
reason,
got re-signed
he is
is
just a
surprising.
yeah. Agreed.
And I don't know what Vince was thinking. In my personal opinion, and it's not really an opinion here. Opinions, people can have them, but she literally had not advanced at all since her first run.
And that's a fact.
The only thing that changed is her hair color.
Yeah, this is what I will say about Eva Marie in my 100% opinion. Again, I don't care if you disagree with me or not. And this is just a straight up fact. Eva Marie coming back to WWE was just a waste. And from what I have heard online, is that she literally just called Vince and just asked to come back. That's it.
Oh my god.
But I will say, her being back in WWE, even though it was for a short time, I was just surprised because I thought like WWE was, gonna have this whole little. Because it seems like every time WWE brings her back, like every time WWE had her, it feels like they're gonna, push her in a special sort of way, but then they just drop the ball.
Yeah. And think and like don't forget, Travis, both of us were kind of, happy when Shayna Baszler, quote unquote, broke Eva Marie's fingers.
I mean, knowing Shayna Baszler, it probably could be either one, fake or literal.
Well, apparently Eva Marie is currently filming a movie, so I don't think her fingers were actually broken.
Maybe, maybe she'll come back a third time, but okay.
Doubt it. But I will say that some wrestlers on the list had actually requested their release.
Okay, before we get into that, there are two, in my opinion, that I am just honestly surprised. Number one, Karrion Kross. I feel like WWE massively dropped the ball with him, and especially his career sort of went downhill after that whole losing to Jeff Hardy thing while being NXT champion, while being undefeated. And another one,
the other one
that WWE massively dropped the ball is the Limitless Keith Lee. And I have two reasons. Reason number one, you think that he would be a guy that Vince McMahon would want to push. And the second reason is he was not only the first ever double champion in NXT, but he literally just got repackaged.
Yeah, that kind of spelled the fall of him. But this opens up some opportunities for AEW to snatch up those guys. We're going to take our final break of the podcast and come back. And our final topic is AEW versus WWE. For those of you that don't know, AEW is All Elite Wrestling,
Which
a
has
company
only been
that
around
started
for 2
up
years.
it started up in 2019. And WWE, obviously World Wrestling Entertainment, started probably around the time of the dinosaurs.
No, from
That
my
was
knowledge,
a joke.
I know, but from my knowledge on that is Vince's father started, then Vince took it over, then it went from that to a dynasty.
And you killed the joke.
Oh, ha. Whatever.
Anyways, WWE has many different iterations over the years.
Too many to count.
Yeah, but we're only gonna be covering the modern age, as I'm gonna call it. The one with the clean logo after the ruthless aggression logo.
And also, something that we will be discussing on this topic is AEW the future of professional wrestling, considering how much talent WWE is just kissing goodbye.
Yeah, I literally told the executioner about this last night, but at this rate, 2K22, which is coming out in March, may not have a roster.
Yeah, that is a valid point, because I was, truth be told, everyone, I was considering buying the game, but with who, I'm not even sure who the hell is even going to be available on the roster.
Yeah, but we're sort of getting off topic. Focus up.
Yeah.
AEW, for how young it is, and I do watch it every Wednesday, and
Friday.
I keep forgetting about Rampage, okay? I keep forgetting about it. I need to like set a reminder or something.
Okay, you might want to do that.
Yeah, don't pretend you don't. I've heard you playing the wrestling games during SmackDown and Rampage.
Okay, continue. But yeah.
And like I think the big difference here is not only their TV rating, but also traveling locally versus globally.
And also, I feel like another major difference between those two companies is the fact is their wrestlers have, you don't have to go through this whole complicated, with some good or bad creative process, is that you have a lot of creative say on what you can do on Dynamite or Rampage.
Yeah. And before he cut me off, what I mean by globally versus locally is apparently AEW isn't traveling out of the United States yet. Meanwhile, WWE, they literally last month had a show in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, and also they also I think did their UK tour, or currently on it, I think.
Something like that.
Yeah, but I honestly think another major difference is AEW, if you ask me, has done a really good job of not just using the older talent that they've signed from the WWE, but also making stars for the future.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that. Shockingly, I rarely agree with you. Normally, I'm the one having to bring the logic to stuff.
Yeah, but this is what I will say. This is the final thing I will mention. Is I think another major difference between AEW and WWE is not only are they much more edgy, but they surprisingly are better at listening to their fans than I honestly think WWE is.
Yeah, we got about a minute 10 left, so why don't we wrap it up here? Thank you for joining us this week. Please follow us on Spotify. We're a relatively new podcast. We're going to try to get on other streaming platforms soon. But join us next week for more debates and discussions. But until then, the Executioner and the Unbreakable Spirit will still be at odds.